What is up, guys? We are back with some Fallout 4. Going to be checking out some more mods. The first mod up we're going to be trying out is no vats overhaul. Now, I already had a mod that disabled vats, and I think it was simply called disable vats. Uh, but there was like a small issue where if you hold the left bumper for too long, you would still enter vats even though you couldn't lock onto anything. So this one is going to be different, and hopefully it fixes that issue. But this one has some extra features with it as well, such as changing up the perks that require you to use vats and, changing it to something else. Because like when you don't use vats, all of those vats perks are basically useless. So this one is going to switch it up so that, it'll change those perks into something else. So as you can see right here, the mod requires Far Harbor and Nuka World. I have no idea why it requires the DLCs for that, but whatever. Um, Installation, not 100% sure that modifications to perks that the player already acquired apply correctly. Nothing I can do about it. It's an engine problem. Use console commands to remove and reacquire modified perks to be certain. Or you can simply just start a new game. And here's the full change list to the perks. So, Awareness 1, time slows down by 30% for 5 seconds when combat begins. Now time slows down by 50% for 8 seconds when combat begins. Alright, so I don't like that perk altogether. We're just gonna skip on that one. Concentrated fire. You do 20% more damage to enemies with 30% less health. You do 30% more damage to enemies with 40% less health. Additionally, you do 50% more damage to enemies with 20% less health, 20% or less health. Wow, that seems really freaking strong. So sniper or non-automatic scope rifles do 100% more limb damage. Alright, that's nice. I like that. Quick hands. Now you can reload all guns even faster. 50% faster on rank 1 is 30% faster. Alright, so Blitz, you do 50% more melee damage for 5 seconds after sprinting more than 2 seconds. You now do 80% more melee damage for 8 seconds after sprinting more than 1 second. Wow, I wonder if this applies to Pain Train. That would be really good. Every time you switch to a pistol, rifle, or heavy weapon, you do 10% more damage with them for 10 seconds. The bonus stacks up to twice. Wow, that sounds nice. That sounds like a Borderlands type of strat. Alright, if I'm remembering Borderlands correctly, I think you have to do something like that in Borderlands. Gun Fu, bonus stacks up to 3 times. Gun bashing does 50% more damage. Gun Fu bonus stacks up to 4 times and lasts 5 more seconds. The Grim Reaper Sprint, any kills has 15% chance to restore all action points. Any kill now has a 25% chance to restore all action points. Any kill now has a 35% chance to restore all action points and reduce incoming damage by 50% for 5 seconds. Wow. Alright, these are kind of, I don't know, these look a little bit strong. You ignore 20% of target's armor. You now ignore 30% of a target's armor. Track nearby human targets for 30 seconds. Track human and robotic targets further away for 30 seconds. You now have a 5% chance of critical hit on enemies with full health. You now, alright, on full health. You have a 15% chance on critical hit on enemies with full 75% or more health. Wow. Alright. Okay. No clue how to change the Mysterious Stranger perk. Best possible implementation would be one in which the NPC spawns somewhere in the middle of combat. I would have to do a lot more than tweaking the perk for entries for that, so currently it's untouched. Oh, that would be nice. Anyway, I never really used that guy anyway. So yeah, let's download this and try it out. Alright, so here we are in game. I started a new game with Start Me Up. I'm going to run over here and look for those mosquitoes. So I'm already pressing LB, and I don't hear the sound or anything. So it's looking real promising so far. Let me hold down. Oh no! Oh, this is doing the same thing as the other mod. Oh no. So it does disable VATS. Like I'm tapping it, right? And VATS isn't happening. But if I hold it, then VATS does happen. However, you can't lock onto anything. So this literally does the same thing as the mod that I'm already using, but it changes the perk points. So let's actually look at the perks real quick. He didn't change Mysterious Stranger. Advanced training for advanced combat effectiveness. Criticals do 50% more extra damage. You have a 5% of critical hit on enemies with full health. Alright. Death becomes your ally. Any kill has a 15% chance to restore all action points. 25%. And then 35% to restore all action points. And reduce incoming damage by 50% for 5 seconds. Each hit in VATS now has an even better chance of... I guess he didn't touch this one yet. Okay. So you can see that some of those are working. But yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, it's still good. I really don't care about the... Like, yeah, see, I can still use it for my dodge mod and stuff. But, yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't... It's good, but it doesn't do anything different from the mod that I already had. So yeah, if you do want VATS disabled, it does work. And the difference between this one and disabled VATS is that you also get the perks. However, I don't really care about the added perks in this one because I feel like they're a little too OP. But yeah, that's it. So I just wanted to test this out because I still want a mod that makes it so that VATS is completely disabled even if you hold the button down. But yeah, I'll put the link for this mod in the description anyway, just in case anybody wants to try it out. Like I said, it is good, does the same thing as Disable VATS, but it also has the addition of, you know, the perks. So it'll swap out the majority of the VATS perks for some non-VATS perks. But I think they are personally a little bit too OP. So with that being said, I will see you guys next time.